Alright, so I'm down here in your basement. I got a couple of things to open. First things first is that this exhaust coming from your boiler reached over 200 degrees. She's pretty hot. I did take a thermal of it. I would recommend, this hasn't been maintenance since 2009. I would have someone come here and perform a maintenance, because you don't have combustibles that are blue. They're more like a yellowish. I do have pictures of it. But this whole stack coming out to the exterior goes to a double wall from a single. And being as hot as it is, with the thermal insulation that they have around here, this can still catch on fire. I would just, depending on the manufacturer, but besides that, the safety part of it, I would just go ahead and double wall this whole thing out. You do have wet walls. Your walls are wet. Not as bad as up on top. Get down to the bottom, she is red alert, pretty high, but we have water lines all the way around. I did try the hardest to use the sewer scope going out to the municipalities to the road, but I could not get that drain cover cap off, and I don't want to break it. But I've tried probably about 10 minutes trying to get that thing open, and I'm afraid that if I do anything more to it, it's gonna bust. Obviously you can't go through there, right, because it goes into an elbow, goes into a double joint, and goes out to the road, and going from here is pointless. But nonetheless, we're already down here. You got your water main here. You do have your main gas to the furnace right here. You do have your quick turn off. Your hot water heater is here. I'm glad they put this in, so then if you ever have any kind of clogging or issues throughout the house, at least you have something that you can go ahead and pull this off and snake through. But significantly wet in this area here. Some of my areas of concern are the conductors going into the panel. I'll turn on my light. So we got a 15 amp conductor here and going into a 20 amp breaker. That's the problem on this part right here, because a smaller conductor going to a bigger breaker could potentially be a wall fire. However, on the flip side, we have a 15 amp breaker going to a 20 amp conductor. I'm okay with the larger conductor going into the breaker because the breaker is going to pop, but we have a smaller conductor going into a larger breaker. That's where I have a problem with. But nonetheless, with the system that we have currently right here, being 100 amp, being bonded, the electrical going in, it doesn't look like it's an amateur that did that. But considering the source, and I believe the source right here is just, I believe it was lights in the ledger. Yeah, so this 20 amp breaker here going to a 15 amp conductor is just mainly for your bathroom. But nonetheless, I mean, considering this is a 20 amp, I would just flip these two breakers around and now you're compliant. Not a big deal. These do pop out. Flip this 20 to this 15, flip them, and then we're correct again. Do have proper bonding throughout the entire home. I do have somewhat of an issue with the support beams here, being that the walls are wet. Down below is also wet onto the supports, and they went ahead and put another support here, put in a 2x8 up on top to support this here floor joist to the bottom, where that's also starting to get well, it's probably been wet for a while, but it's gonna eventually rot out. You do have some older knob and tube wiring, but they don't appear to be active. You got the one here that's non-active with the wire sniffer and whatnot. So, and then I'll leave my stuff here open. I'll come back and put everything back together. Coming up. So So we do have some windows that do have missing screens. Some windows are harder to open and lock. It's not that bad. I think they just need to be significantly cleaned. We do have some open grounds and neutrals and the plugs throughout. I've only counted 2 out of the 20 that I've done, so it's not that big of a deal. We can get that fixed. I mean, it is a big deal if you don't take care of it. Some of these windows do have issues. This one has a broken slider. The window does open up, but the slider rail itself is shot on this side, and this side works pretty good. The rest of the windows, this side opens. I didn't even attempt to do this because it's been plastic shut. Good weather seal around the doors. The ceiling fan here is questionable. You do turn it on, it does make a weird sound, and it is an older style fan. I would recommend just replacing it. Plus you're missing the light fixture on the bottom. And this outlet here does pop off out of the wall. I did take it apart to try to fix it, but the way they have it set in there, the hole is bigger than the junction box. You need to have some supporting brackets in there to get it fixed, and I don't have that part with me. But nonetheless, that there is fixable. Let's see, I think this one here is reverse polarity, and then right here you got an open ground. Bathroom is good. Bathroom sink does drain a little slow. You can get some drain cleaner, clean it out. I did show you down in the basement where you have that quick clean out. If you pull that off, you can snake it. It's 10 times better than any kind of liquid that you can put down there for drainage. But nonetheless, the shower being run for about 5 minutes had no problem draining. Toilet is tight to the ground. Flush it a few times. You do have a valve on the side for quick take apart. Flushes just fine. Kitchen, okay, we do have some issues with the windows. These are hardware style windows, and some of them are broken. So if I were to open this up right here, it automatically kind of like wants to pop out because we don't have the supports for quick cleaning. Those are taken apart. To me, I think it's a minor fix. You know, you got to pull the trim off. Take out the screws, wipe out the insulation depending on what style they used. This is a standard size window at a hardware store. You can pop and swap it. If not, if it was customized, usually takes about a month, maybe 6 weeks for that new window to come in. I would say probably about $180 per window. And if you get argon gas, a little bit more. Low E with krypton gas, you're looking at a little bit more. It depends on what you want. But throughout the whole, we do have hardware windows. Some of them do need to be replaced. Some are hard to even lock. But nonetheless, like I said, do one window at a time when the budget is applied. Good drainage here, good setup below. I did turn on your stove, grab the serial numbers for your appliances and your exhaust hood along with your refrigerator. Refrigerator is not on, they didn't turn it on. There's no reason to have it plugged in if there's no one living here, the house is vacant. But I did grab the serial numbers for it. I like to use the website called homespy.io, which allows me to take the serial number and model number to the make and model of any appliance, and it gives me a little history check on it. It even gives me the date of when it was manufactured. A lot of times they give you PDFs, so if you lose the paperwork on something, you can go to that website and download the PDF. Some cabinetry work. We do have some cosmetics. This one here looked like it was bumped into a little bit hard. But the rest of the cabinetry looks pretty good. This is a standard type size cabinet that you can buy at a hardware store, and they do sell these. The only problem is if you get a replacement for this door that is cracked and broken right here, it's not gonna match what you currently have. It's gonna look new and shiny versus dull and a little bit older of age. Coming upstairs, you do have ductwork that looks like it is improper installation. So here's the deal with the ductwork. All right, some people say, well, you have to have 2 inches of clearance coming on through. This is your heat duct. This isn't your exhaust duct. So this is something that you can see down the basement that's tied up to the floor joists. They just have this typical type ductwork that's unorthodox on how they set it up through the house for coming up here. So does this need to be 2 inches of combustible clearance all the way around? No. I mean, depending on who you talk to, but when I took my thermal to it with the heat on for a good half hour, this didn't get no hotter than 75 degrees up in here. And down the basement, it was pretty much the same. It was maybe 2 to 3 degrees hotter down the basement coming up to the upstairs. So being the clearance issue, I don't find it to be an issue, and being where they got the heat junction box here, again, it didn't get any hotter than 75 degrees right here. So is it safe? In my point of view, I think it is safe. But you know, it's like I said, it's an unorthodox way of setting up heat throughout the house, but it works. Your vents, they are clean and clear. They all do blow. Not to get off subject on the heat, your attic is extremely small for the access. It's not the size that you need for an access cover or scuttle hole to get into your attic. I could barely stick my head up and through there. So the insulation looks okay. It could probably use a little bit more, but you have no baffles inside your attic. You can look in the inspection report for that. Same thing, you know, 4-bedroom, 1 bath, typical type bedroom. You have no smoke alarms in any one of the bedrooms. You have one in the hallway, which was fine in the 80s and the 90s, but they changed it because more and more people were having CPAP machines and having a smoke alarm out in the hallway. If there's ever a fire and the door is closed and you have a CPAP, you're not going to hear that smoke alarm. CPAP machines are a little louder, so they recommend having a smoke alarm inside the bedrooms, which is contrary to my belief, because by the time you get smoke in that bedroom with a closed door with that CPAP machine on, it's almost a mayday, if you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna head back down to the basement, put that dead front back on to the electrical, and put some other things away and secure how it was before. And then obviously when you comes to the sharing the video with whoever you want to share it with, Mom and Dad, you have other questions, let me know. We can set up a time where I can do a Zoom. We can get you guys all on board and we can get all your questions answered. I appreciate you guys letting me do this today. I don't like to get on the roof. Tomorrow we're expecting rain, and later on this week snow. They're saying 10 more inches. I don't like to get on the roof when it's wet. I don't. Even brand new roofs, they're slippery up there, and I don't like to fall off a roof. So, but nonetheless, thank you for letting me do this today. This is basically an advantage for me to do the 360 because I can't take you up on the roof. The 360 I can, so you can see what I'm seeing when I'm up there. Other than that, refer to your realtor, John here, his wife, and we'll go from there. And I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you. So we're down here in the front of the house, starting with the front porch here. We're missing a spring set, and it seems like the door is installed tightly, but she closes, but she's missing a spring set here. As when it comes down to rodents and pests, I do believe we do have pest issues, especially when it comes to the back door area. We do have some missing flashing pieces throughout the entire house. The starter strip is loose in several areas. We do have some wood that is starting to rot out. So I would budget for these windows to be replaced. I'm sure they leak. Getting behind the starter strip here is pretty loose. Coming up, and they did a double J channel here, and as we come through, They put a different material here for the corner strip. A lot of cosmetics throughout the entire home. We have a lot of broken vinyl pieces throughout. I haven't been down your basement yet, but I'm sure by looking at this wall here, I did take my owl and I did stick it in. As I'm sticking my owl in, I should be hitting something when I'm pushing in. I'm not. I'm pushing straight in, and I'm sure this basement leaks pretty significantly. Now I know I'm a home inspector and whatnot, but I'm also a contractor too, and it would be my best guess that what I would do is I would remove this sidewalk here, dig it all out, and then dig down probably 3 feet up against this house, and I would reseal this entire wall, do one section at a time. Then once it's sealed up, then I would go ahead and put your dirt back, reframe it, and re-pour. I would say probably 17 yards from the front of the house there to about right here, and get this re-poured. It'll secure that foundation quite significantly. And then we have a defective GFIC. We got a lot of screens that are pretty bad. Probably needs a replacement. And then I don't know if you can see it, but when I pull this back, it looks like we have some rodent droppings there and whatnot. We have some vegetation too. I would cut these trees off your house. Some insurance companies geographically are dropping people's insurance or increasing the rates just because they have overhanging trees. I would just cut those out of there. And another thing I want to mention to you too is we got brickwork here. I don't know if you can see that or not. They go straight into your basement, it looks like. And I won't know for sure until I get down there and inspect it. That's an entry point for any mice, especially during the winter time. And we have no gutters throughout the entire home. I would invest in getting some gutters installed, especially on this side too, because this is a combination gable. Getting those installed would prevent that rainwater from coming down, penetrating that wall, because even stone and concrete does expand like a sponge, and it does get bigger when it gets wet like a sponge.